Hello everyone, my name is Keith, and in this video we're going over my most used Mavic Air 2 accessories. I've been flying the Mavic Air 2 for a few months now since it came out, and I have bought a ton of accessories for this drone, and some of them I've used and some of them are still in the box. So in this video we're going over my most used accessories for the Mavic Air 2. The first bundle that's going to get you the farthest right out of the box is when you're buying the drone. You can buy the drone separately, or you can buy the Fly More combo. And I'm a big fan of buying the Fly More combo for all of my drones because it comes with the most critical accessories that you're probably going to buy anyways at a discounted price. Namely being batteries and the charging hub. In addition to the Fly More kit coming with the bag as well, it also comes with ND filters now. So I was really excited when I could find that the Fly More kit was coming with ND filters because I always end up buying ND filters for every camera I buy. I was kind of disappointed to learn that the Mavic Air 2 ND filters started at ND16 and then went to 64 and then 256. The ND16 is the least aggressive of the ND filters in the Fly More kit, but that's still pretty aggressive. If you're filming at golden hour, the ND16 is going to be really dark, and if you don't use an ND filter at all, it's going to be really bright. So I'll get to that problem a little bit later with my accessories, but it is nice that DJI is now including ND filters, even if they're a little bit more aggressive, in the Fly More kits. The second thing that I bought for the Mavic Air 2 when I was purchasing the drone was DJI Care Refresh. This, I haven't had to use it thankfully yet, but it does give me some peace of mind whenever I'm out flying because I love turning off my obstacle avoidance and just flying as close to things as I possibly can. If I do crash it, I have DJI Care so that I can send it in. And I used to rely on my renter's insurance because I was renting, now I'm a homeowner. So now I have homeowner's insurance. But if I go and crash my drone and I make a claim on my homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance, all of those premiums are going to go up. So it's nice to have a second insurance or like a secondary insurance provider that is DJI, and they will assess the damage to the drone and then just send you a new or refurbished drone. My third accessory for the Mavic Air 2 is circling back to if you didn't buy the Fly More combo, and that is to buy more batteries. Maybe I'm not the typical user, but I will go through 3 batteries, and if I only had the one that my camera came with, I would only have a quarter of the flight time and footage. And sometimes when you're in the air, you have to mess around with your camera settings. So maybe you'll burn 10% of your battery just sitting in position, adjusting your settings or getting your frame properly done. So 30 minutes of flight time doesn't necessarily translate to 30 minutes of usable footage. So having multiple batteries is definitely a solid thing to invest in, and that is my third accessory that I have to have with the Mavic Air 2. Again, if you didn't buy the Mavic Air 2 Fly More combo, I would suggest investing in a battery charging hub. This hub just works with your battery charger that came in the box with the drone, regardless of package that you got. Having more batteries and having a way to charge all of your batteries and just not have to worry about it, because if you have all these batteries but only one is charged at a time and you forget to charge the other batteries, you might as well not have those other batteries to begin with. I really feel like I'm harping on batteries here, but I have gone through a lot, and this charging hub has seen a lot of use in the past few months. My fifth accessory for the Mavic Air 2 is memory cards. I've gone through a lot of memory cards with the Mavic Air 2 because I really like shooting that 4K 60. I use the SanDisk Extreme, the V30 micro SD cards. So they are fast enough to write the 4K 60 that the Mavic Air 2 is filming. And they are priced pretty good. I have a 128 gig card in my drone all the time. And if I need more, I have a couple 64 gigs in here, and the 64 gigabyte cards are actually pretty affordable. The 128 is obviously more expensive, but I love it because I don't fill it up as fast and I don't have to land the drone if my SD card fills up. I can run multiple batteries before that 128 gig will fill up. It's also nice to have extra SD cards just in case. My sixth accessory I use with the Mavic Air 2 is the car charger. The car charger has saved me a few times, and it comes in really handy when I'm out filming. I will go through my first battery and I'll run back to my car, throw it on the car charger, and then use my other two batteries. At that point, if I'm done filming, that's fine. But if I still have some stuff that I want to record, I can use that first battery that's in my car charging, throw one of my dead batteries on it, and still just recycle that process until I get the shot that I want. The car charger is one of those things you don't hope you have to use, but whenever you need to use it, it comes in really clutch and you understand why you bought the car charger. So it's worth checking out, especially if you have limited batteries. This comes in really handy. My seventh accessory is the other less aggressive ND filters than the ones that DJI sends you in the Flymore kit. The Flymore kit comes with a 16, 64, and 256. They're nice to have in your arsenal for creative reasons, but I would also really recommend picking up a set of 4, 8, and 32 ND filters to complement the filters that come with the Flymore combo. If you need polarizing filters, I like the Freewell and Polar Pro brands, but I haven't done very much extensive testing on here, but both of those brands haven't been bad, so I would recommend those if you need them as well. My eighth accessory for the Mavic Air 2 is a camera bag. And the camera bag that comes with the Flymore kit is pretty good if you're just going out and filming with your drone and shooting photos with like your phone or something. But if you're going out and you have more of a kit, I would recommend picking up a beefier camera bag. I use the Lowepro 450 AW2. It is a pretty hefty bag covered in German Shepherd hair right now, but it can carry my mirrorless cameras. I usually, I went on a short weekend trip. I had the Mavic Air 2 and my Mavic 2 Pro with all the batteries, car chargers, my A7 III, 3 lenses, and all kinds of batteries and filters and stuff. It was a little heavy, but I was able to pack everything in there and not have to worry about getting somewhere, wanting to shoot something, and not having the gear that I needed to really do what I wanted to do. Having a big bag and a big secure bag really will go a long way, and it will outlast any drone and camera body and lenses and filters that you can buy. So investing in a good bag is always a good accessory to have. My ninth tip for the Mavic Air 2 is something that often goes overlooked until it becomes a problem, and that is storage. I just had to buy 2 more drives. I typically just fill up a ton of these 4 terabyte drives and then back it up to 1 8 terabyte drive whenever 2 of these fill up. And then I just keep cycling that process over and over, just so I have 2 different copies of my files. I always think I have enough storage, and then whenever I start a new project, I somehow run out of all this storage. I feel like 4 and 8 terabytes seems like a lot, but it does fill up pretty quickly. So my next accessory, hard drives. Lots of hard drives. My 10th accessory for the Mavic Air 2 doesn't make much sense right now, but I can't wait for support to be added for it in the future, and that is the smart controller. I use the smart controller every time I'm out flying my Mavic 2 Pro, and I absolutely love the screen on this thing. It's nice to not have to put my phone inside of a device to use it. It's just makes life a lot easier. It is a little expensive, but if you can afford it and you have multiple DJI drones that use OcuSync 2.0, it's unbelievable how quickly you can get up and running with the smart controller. You do pay for that privilege, but if you can swing it, I would say get the smart controller. Just know that if you buy a smart controller for a Mavic Air 2, it will not work right now. DJI says it will work in the future with a firmware update, and I'm eagerly awaiting that firmware update. My last accessory for the Mavic Air 2 didn't really cut it to make it to the main list, but it's an honorary mention that I think it's worth having. If you are in an area where you can't hand catch or launch your drone, a landing pad is something great to have in your bag, especially because it will outlast other drones. It's not specific to one drone. And if you're teaching someone how to fly or in an area where there's a lot of grass and you can't hand launch or catch, it's nice to have this to have a nice stable surface to take off from. I was teaching someone how to fly the Mavic Air 2, and we were in the middle of a field and they obviously weren't going to hand launch it. So I put this down on the ground and it worked perfectly. They were able to focus on the drone, launching it, and not worrying about grass and long weeds getting caught in the propellers and it flipping sideways and it just being a bad experience. If you really want to ensure beginners have a great experience, take time and put a landing pad out. And it's kind of cool if you are teaching a beginner and you hit that return to home button, it'll usually come back and just land right on that landing pad without you doing anything. Beginners love that kind of stuff. So those are my top 10 accessories I've been using for the Mavic Air 2. If you buy that Fly More combo, you're going to be pretty close to having all of the accessories that I've been using. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end. Sorry I haven't put a video out in a long time. COVID happened, some family stuff happened. My fiance and I were looking at houses and we closed on a house, and then COVID happened and tons of dates got pushed back and all kinds of stuff. So I'm glad to be in my new office making new videos for you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here. I put out a lot of drone tips and tricks, as well as just kind of general filmmaking advice. So thank you guys for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.